Hello, everybody. I'd like to talk to you today about mindfulness, but in a different way. I want to explain to you how mindfulness affects the aura, because I'm talking from an energetic point of view, not from just the practice of doing mindfulness. Mindfulness has become very popular. It's a little bit like how meditation was, and now people are using mindfulness, which is kind of like a really short version of meditation. When we are doing something that is mindful, we're being present, we're focusing on the moment, or we're being, in a sense, still, and we are just being. And when we do that, it affects the aura, and that's why people are having good effects from being mindful. It's the same as meditation. That's why people have good effects, because when you meditate, you affect the aura. I wanted to talk about how it affects the aura. Firstly, when you do both these practices, particularly now we're talking about mindfulness, you change the chakras. That's what actually happens. So if your chakras have been spinning too quickly, you've been agitated, you've been feeling really anxious, you're upset about something, what will happen is the chakras will start to spin quickly, and they'll actually get a little distorted too. For example, if you've just had a fight with your mum, your heart chakra will often be affected in your solar plexus chakra, and that will be spinning around quickly, but it'll also be bouncing around a bit. It won't be calm, it won't be spinning calmly, and it won't be vibrating in its usual place. So when you're being mindful, what happens is when you stop and you push all those things, the past and the present, out, and you be mindful of what you're doing right now, the chakras settle, because they're not in that environment right now. And that's what's so important about mindfulness and meditation, is it allows the chakras to calm down and to settle, because there's no interference to them from your mind, or actually from your emotions, because your mind will affect your chakras and your emotions will affect your chakras. Our chakras are changing all the time, every day, every week. They're changing, because we're hitting energy all the time. Before we go to the shop, we might feel really nice and balanced and calm. We go to the shop, everyone's anxious at the shop, there's some stress in the car park, people are feeling agitated because they're waiting in the line, and that energy will directly affect us and affect our chakras. And that's why often you'll need to leave the shop. I often think, okay, I've done enough now, I need to go home, because I need to calm my chakras down, because they've been sort of affected. When we think about the past and all that has happened and the feelings that go with the past, that immediately affects the chakras. So if we're thinking about a funeral or a family breakup or a fight we had with somebody or something that's sad that happens, immediately when we're thinking, the chakra will be changed. So if it was in nice balance, the more you think about it, the more you remember and focus, the more it changes that chakra. The same is when we think about the future. We're thinking about going back to work, or starting a new job, or something we have to do that's new to us and we're nervous about it, or something in the future that we don't want to do but we know we have to do it, then the chakras immediately get affected, and they will actually start to spin differently. They usually go a little bit more haywire when you're anxious. They spin out too fast, and they get wobbly, and we can't see this with our eyes, but that's what the energy is happening in your body. That's what's being affected. So your mind is affected, which affects your chakras, and then your emotions are affected, which affects your chakras. When you perform the mindfulness, which is like a mini meditation, where you be still and you either breathe or you be in the moment, the chakras calm down. That's what actually is happening to you. If you are doing something like drawing or even cooking, but you're really mindful and you're focusing on the cooking or the drawing or the gardening, whatever is the thing you're doing that you're mindful and you're actually in the moment and you're just doing that, it gives your chakras a time to settle down. The other thing that happens energetically is we've got a whole aura, and we've got 7 layers out from our body, including our body, and those layers are also affected by what's happening, coming in and out and hitting us. So when we are in a stillness, in a place of stillness, and we're maybe in our little, I suppose you'd call it, auric cocoon, nothing's hitting us. We might be just sitting quietly out the back having a cup of tea and looking at the birds, not interacting with anyone. And in that moment, those layers settle and calm. It's like we're not being hit by energy, so they can calm down. The aura is very sensitive, and all parts of it are affected. It's not just the mind, which is actually in our aura and then out of our aura too. I've done podcasts on that. But it's also in our emotional astral body and in our emotional body. We've got like the emotions as well. And those emotions will change the chakras. And they also change in the layers of the emotional body and the astral body, which is two of the layers that go out from the body. I wanted to explain it energetically. I had to sort of do some thinking about it before I actually did the podcast, so I could get it in my head, so I could actually explain it to you. But that's actually what's happening, and that's why people are getting benefits. And they think it's just because they're mindful, and yes, it is. But it's actually an energetic shift that you're doing. It's like when you're daydreaming. If you're daydreaming about something and just dreaming and sitting there, and you're just daydreaming a little bit, it calms the chakras down. Or you're just watching the sunset and you're just sitting there and you're mindful and you're still. When you're doing that, the chakras calm down because there's nothing impacting on them. It's really important that our chakras are open and that they are spinning in the right direction, but they are also not wobbling around, not being hit all the time. And you will feel when people hit you energetically. I've actually felt it. You can feel the bang in your solar plexus or the bang in your heart. We've all had that. And they're the energetic hits that we're getting. And that's what disturbs the energy of our aura. We can also pick up other people's energy as well. If we've got lots of people around us or there's a lot of chaos around you with people fighting and screaming and yelling, having fights at home or at work or wherever, you will pick up that energy and it will actually shake your aura and it will affect how your chakras are working. We can't change life because we live in this big sea of energy, but we can give ourselves breaks, and that's what mindfulness and meditation do. They give you time to reset, rebalance your chakras, the layers, calm the mind, not have huge emotions, just have a stillness, have peace, have joy, have love. And it's a form of self-love when we do this for ourselves. I think mindfulness is self-love because we love ourselves enough to stop and just be here with ourselves and just be breathing or be watching or be still. If you can find things that are quite meditative to do, I think knitting and drawing and sewing, crafts, painting, clay, anything that you're doing where you're just in the space for a while, the time goes like really quickly. All of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I've done this for a bit longer. They are the places to go. They're your mindful places as well. And what is happening is energetically you're calming down. If you start to understand that mindfulness is doing this to your chakras, it's giving them time to resettle, recharge, rebalance. And also the chakras are taking energy in and they're taking energy out. They're like a two-way street. So if we've had too much energy coming in, we want to release some of that and be still and get back to our normal self and get ourselves settled. Because just like the body tries to heal itself on a physical level, the energy body, the aura, is always trying to bring us back to balance, always trying to bring back to balance. There are times when we're doing release work, we're letting go of things, anxiety, fear, terror, hate, and then the aura will be a little bit like letting it go and it's going out of the body. And you'll know that because you'll probably have some release work feelings, a little bit like side effects sometimes energetically. But that's actually a clearing, that's different. But on an everyday level, when we're just doing our everyday stuff, that's when we can really use mindfulness. For example, if we're in traffic and we know that we're not going to have to wait for 3 sets of the lights, that's when you can be mindful and be calm and just enjoy being still, and no one's at you, and you don't have to do tea yet, you haven't got home yet. Just be mindful. And that's also a good time to play your music that you love, and then sing in the car and just be in that joyful moment, and that's going to resettle your chakras. I hope this has helped you understand it from an energetic point of view. I think it's really sort of interesting and exciting to find different understandings of what the work we're doing is actually doing energetically for us, but it is an energetic shift and an energetic rebalancing. So the aura is always looking to have some time to go back to how you are, like come back to yourself. And that's why mindfulness is good, because when you do these things, even if it's for 5 minutes, the aura will very, very quickly right itself. It changes within a second or two. That's what I want you to understand. You can be feeling fine. Someone comes in the room who's aggressive and angry, and it will just flare up your aura. But the reverse is good too, because you can feel scatty and all over the place and be mindful, and the aura will quickly rebalance. The aura is a self-healing, energetic kind of body, energy body. That's what it is. And that's why I encourage you to do mindfulness. Be still, be focused, be accepting, try and be in the moment. Try not to worry about the past, worry about the future. Just be still. And while you do that, you give your aura a chance, your chakras and your layers and your mind to settle down. And the other thing that it does, it strengthens you, because the more that you do this, your aura will get better and better at getting back to who you actually are. It's like a practice of energetic self-love, I think. So have fun with it. If you don't know a lot about mindfulness, go and look it up and see how you can do things in your daily practice. And they're only short quite often, they don't have to be long. If you know a lot about it, now you'll understand why it's probably a good thing to keep pursuing and to keep practicing, because the effect it has on the energy body and on the aura. And it is a very, very positive effect. It's kind of like giving yourself a calm, happy pill energetically just for a while, and that will steady you and fortify you. It's kind of like, I don't know, energy healing for yourself. Do the mindfulness, have a practice with it. You can message me and tell me how you feel afterwards, before and afterwards, and that's the key, because you will feel that your chakras are more balanced once you realize that it's your chakras and your aura that is now balanced. You can actually tune it and you'll feel that. And you might even want to check it before with your pendulum, what they're like, and then afterwards you might find there's a difference there too. So good luck, have fun, and I'm sending you lots of love and lots of mindfulness.